These are the plaintiffs, Michael and Emily Coletta. They say they were told by the defendant, their landlord, that they were model tenants and left the place in immaculate condition when they moved out. So they were quite shocked when their security was returned not only late, but minus about 50% of what they were owed. They won't sit idly by and let the defendant get away with ripping them off like that. So they're suing for the $704.08 they're owed. This is the defendant, Marianne DeForte Ford. She says she got a snotty letter from the plaintiff, Michael, stating security needed to be returned within 15 days of their departure, and she was in violation of their lease. Guess what? When she checked the lease, she discovered the plaintiffs were the ones in violation of their lease because there was stipulation requiring them to pay an additional $100 a month for the 7 months they lived on a month-to-month basis. Bottom line, she owes nothing. She's accused of overlooking the facts.
Douglas, Michael and Emily Coletta?
Yes.
You are suing Marianne DeForte Ford and Marianne and Joseph Ford. Okay, you have power of attorney for Joseph. And what's your relationship with Joseph?
My father.
That's your father. Okay, father and daughter. And you're Marianne. For $704.08 that was withheld of a security deposit that you feel is rightfully yours. Tell me what's going on.
Well, we originally moved to Brooklyn in August 2006. So I could attend law school. And at the time we were moving, we were looking for a long-term lease for at least 3 years because that's how long I was going to be in law school.
Where'd you go to law school?
Brooklyn Law School.
Okay.
And so we found this brownstone in Park Slope, and it had a garden apartment on the ground floor. So we rented that. Now at the time, we had different landlords. That was before.
Okay, that was the people. Now you own this with your mom and dad?
Yes, I
Okay, so you have power of attorney for your mom and your dad here.
That's correct.
All right, and he was already a tenant there before you guys bought it.
That's correct.
All right, so go ahead.
So when we got the place, we signed a 1-year lease initially, and when that lease expired in August 2007, we were just going on a month-to-month with the old landlords. But we had an agreement. She knew I was in law school, and the agreement was we could stay, as long as we wanted. It wasn't a problem. Well, sometime in, I don't remember the exact date. I want to say October or November 2007.
Now, they taught you in Brooklyn Law School that verbal agreement would be completely unenforceable. If she wanted you out, you'd be out, right?
Correct. Well, that was.
Well, at some point you learned it because then you insisted on a lease.
Well, absolutely. She came down. The old landlord was very upset, and she said, "This is very unexpected, but we actually bought another condo in a different part of Brooklyn, and we're going to be moving and selling the place."
What was she upset about? It sounds like.
Well, she really liked the brownstone. I think it was more her husband wanted a more modern condo.
Okay, so there was marital discord. All right, so
well,
go ahead. I got it.
Marital discord. So she said, "Well, hey, you're in law school. Write a lease that's going to protect your rights. Like I told you before, you and your wife can stay for as long as you want. Write a lease that makes sure that the new landlords can't kick you out, and me and my husband will sign it."
Okay, so the law student got advice from the non-lawyer to protect his rights. Then what happened?
Well, I mean.
So then she actually, that's pretty nice of her because
it was very generous, yeah.
So then you end up writing something that says what?
The lease we wrote had a termination date of August 1st, 2009.
Which was 2 years into the future.
Yes.
Okay.
I would be graduating that summer.
Right.
And then there were 3 options to renew after that. And I think for a rent increase each time.
Now, why would the landlord hinder themselves like that, though? Because they want to put it on the market, and the new buyer may want to put their mother-in-law down there. You don't like that. Just makes it harder to sell. So why would she do that? To spite her husband?
No, I honestly think she felt bad when we were going to rent the place. I mean, when we were talking about it.
She was afraid of losing you because she didn't know how long it would take?
I think she felt bad because when we moved in initially.
Because people don't do business decisions because they feel bad.
Well,
this woman,
she was like a grandmotherly type. She was
very
nice.
Her husband obviously approved it, right? Because
he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's exactly what ended up happening.
So then they try to sell it, and you don't want it subject to the garden apartment, right?
Correct.
Correct. So what happens? What do you tell the seller?
It was basically between our lawyers, the old
get rid
owners.
of the lease.
I said,
basically, your lawyer takes a position with their lawyer to get rid of the lease, or we're not buying it. So then what happens?
Well, they came back to us.
Young Perry Mason. Go ahead.
They come back, and she says, we're having trouble selling it with this lease because nobody wants.
So of course you showed the same kindness to her that she showed to you, right?
I did.
Really?
She said can we get rid of the options to renew? Because she said August 1st, 2009 is okay, but the options to renew after that is kind of what puts it over the top. Would you be willing to scratch that?
In return for what?
At that time, nothing.
And so you said yes.
Well, we negotiated because she wanted me to end.
How much did you get paid from this kind elderly lady who was doing you that incredible favor completely against her best interest in order to give up a portion of what you'd negotiated? How much did she pay? Spit it out.
Well,
how much did she pay?
There was money involved, but that was a subsequent.
How much did you negotiate? How much did you negotiate? Just spit it out.
Well, $6,000.
$6,000.
But that came later.
$6,000 was what you got paid to give up which portion of the lease that you had signed up with her?
They bought us out of the 6 month.
So you get $6,000 for that. Okay. Now let's fast forward to you're involved now. You own the place. August of 2009 comes. Okay. And your obligations to the young lawyer and so. Do you have children?
Yes, we have a 7-month-old baby.
7-month-old baby? Precious. Okay. So your obligations to them are over. What happens? What discussion do you guys have about them staying?
Well, we had known that he was going to be looking for a job, and we understood that she was pregnant at the time, or she just had a baby, and things were fine with us. We had watched their cats. We had babysat their child.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, everything was fine. We are very happy for him when he passed the bar. We are very excited for him when he got his job. So this is why all of this is kind of a shock to me.
Okay.
So
when does he move out?
So we had said to them, just please give us the 30 days notice.
So they stay on past August?
They stayed on.
Okay, all right. So work with me here. So what we got is we've got him negotiating to be able to have a right to stay until February. The prior owner of the place buying him out of that right for $6,000. And then August comes and he just looks at you and says, "Can I stay?" And you say, "Yeah."
Well,
so they get to stay anyway. So when does he tell you guys, "I'm moving out"?
Well, my husband...
Is this your husband?
This is my husband,
okay.
Jason. He goes...
You tell me about it because you weren't
Yes.
there then, right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I called Emily and asked when they were leaving. She immediately came upstairs to our apartment and said that we're leaving in 2 weeks.
Okay. And you did not know that before?
I did not know that. So I was a little shocked that they were leaving so quickly.
Did you know that they were leaving?
No.
Did you guys give them any notice?
We gave them 45 days notice.
Who gave the notice?
We both did.
How did you give
walked upstairs.
We walked upstairs.
He was downstairs with the baby, like on the landing.
This was beginning of January, maybe January 15th, January 20th, somewhere in there.
Well, I can tell you exactly because I actually gave notice to my employer at the same time, and it was January 20th. And he seemed perturbed, and he said, "You could have told us sooner."
We told
and
him
I
March
said,
1st.
This is exactly.
Your boss was perturbed, or they were perturbed?
He was perturbed. He seemed perturbed that we were telling him, and he said, "You could have given me more time." And I said, "We just found out it's January 20th. I just let my boss know that I'm not returning to work. We will be moving at the end of February for March 1st."
March
Okay.
1st would be the termination.
Now, what have we got here now, Counselor? We have a dispute between two sides about whether notice was given. So, of course, you gave the notice in writing, right?
I mean, as month-to-month holdover tenants, I don't believe we were
no?
required to give any notice.
Oh my gosh, you're not going to learn your lesson, are you?
No, there was nothing in writing.
Listen,
We were on very good terms.
dude, you cannot run circles around me. Okay,
Your Honor,
I
I'm
could
not
eat you
trying
as an
to.
appetizer.
I
Listen
understand.
to me. Did you put the notice in writing?
No.
No.
So should this guy be held to a higher standard than a regular litigant because he's a law student?
You should know the answer to that, Harvey. No.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What do you think?
No.
No? Why not? He's got some training.
Well, because he can't be discriminated upon based on his occupation.
No, but should there be a higher expectation because the dude's a law student? Oh, I love you. Come on. I can't get anything out of you. But you're still fun going inside the courtroom.
Did you put the notice in writing?
No.
Is it better or not better to have things in writing?
It's better.
Of course it's better. Your
Okay. Now, according to you, you don't need the notice in writing. Why?
Well, we were month-to-month holdover tenants.
And?
I don't believe, I don't, under the statute that
Now you're
the
scared.
tenants.
Now you're scared.
Well, I don't believe the tenants are
Where is
actually
this?
required in New York
Brooklyn?
City. Yeah.
Yeah. Every state and in New York, the boroughs have a different rule. He doesn't have to give you notice,
Okay.
which I think is shocking.
Right.
But it's the case. Now, you end up withholding $600 or $700?
$700.
$700 of the security deposit. You send him a check for the rest.
Yeah.
He cashes it, but he writes there under protest, which
Right.
is what he has to do to preserve his rights. And then now they want the other $700. They feel you don't have a right to keep it. You kept $700 because what?
Because on the rider, I noticed after when I had to return the security deposit, I didn't recall how much it was for. So I pulled out my closing documents. There was the lease, read the lease, the end of it, and that's where it said that from August of 2009 through February of 2010, the rent shall be increased by an amount of $100 per month. So when I read that, I thought, well, and I went and I looked at the checks. They didn't pay us $1,700 a month. They paid us $1,600 a month.
Now, this is interesting because you want me to order them to abide by a contract that doesn't exist anymore because you made the prior owner get rid of it. You follow?
Okay.
All right. So, and whether or not you had done that, let's just say the prior owner wanted to do it because they're kind and elderly and love this couple. For whatever reason, they did that. I know they did that because I'm looking at the check that says consideration for early termination. That's what the check says. I'm sure he had them write that on the check because lay people wouldn't know to write that. So literally, that rider doesn't exist anymore. What I am here to tell you is that as unfair as you may feel it is, it really isn't unfair. Because that prior contract, giving them from August to January, February, was between him and the prior landlord. It was something that he and the prior landlord ripped up in return for the $6,000. Ironically, they got to stay anyway because you let them. So they not only got $6,000, they got the benefit of what they had, hoped for, okay? And then that means that there is no contract that you can go under that makes them pay the other $100. Get it? So you're cooked. You got to give him the rest of the money. That's his money. He's right. Okay, you won your first case. What are you going to do next? Go to Disney World? $700.
Thank you.
Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you,
okay?
Your Honor.
And the defendants have lost. Is this your first case that you've lost?
Yeah.
All right. Stand right next to her. What's your reaction to coming out on what you heard in the courtroom here? You look shocked when you heard that he received that $6,000.
Absolutely. We had no idea that he got $6,000. And obviously, if we would have known, we would have terminated him and removed him from the apartment.
Yeah.
And we were trying to be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck with everything.
Thank
You
you.
just head right down this way. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of his first case. What was it like being in there in front of a real judge who had you on the mat there for a while?
She's tough, for sure. But, there's a lot more to the story, and I'm happy with the outcome.
So what do you do next now?
What do I
What's
do
your next case?
Got a lot of family court cases coming up.
All right, Harvey?
Okay, quick tip. You can call your local bar association. A lot of them offer free or low-cost consultations. So if you have something like a landlord-tenant problem, for a very, very nominal cost, you can get some really sound advice. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.